Hey guys, it's Tiffany Harelik, and this is your Wise Skies astrology forecast for February of 2024. So February is kind of cool, right? We've got the month in the numerology switches. And so we are in a 1 month in February. So January was a 9 month. January was about assimilation and closure and completion. And February starts out with a 1. So there's some focus. And the moon moves into Scorpio, which helps us with our focus and our intensity and our concentration. So sometimes we can have the blinders on. So just being aware of that when you're in a 1 month, but also really taking the time that you need to prioritize and get your focus clear. It feels more like New Year energy here in February than it did in January to me personally. So checking in with that inner vision, what you need to be focused on is going to be helpful as you start the month out. On February 2nd, Mercury is going to sextile Neptune. So we start the month with this positive aspect between the mind, the mindset, and the dream, the bigger vision. You might notice that your spidey senses are enhanced, or that you have enhanced intuition, that you're able to use your visionary powers, your visionary work to really visualize and help create, whatever it is that you're wanting to create in your life. This is a very creative flow. So you might just be getting information or wisdom. You might be getting downloads or uploads, or just having this like aha moment, beautiful, peaceful energy that comes back in June, on June 2nd. There's a last quarter moon on February 2nd at 13 degrees of Scorpio. So this is harvest time. This is when something is coming full circle. So it's just kind of that end of January, early February, wrapping things up so that you can have that fresh start. That's going to be amazing and fresh for you. The Sabian symbol associated with this last quarter moon is a telephone linesman at work installing new connections. And so I love this. On my Facebook group, somebody was just posting all of these cool like old country songs that had spiritual connections too. And Wichita Line is one of them. It's my favorite song. And it just made me think of that with the Sabian symbol. So finding that spiritual connection. What is it about a telephone linesman? It really doesn't match up with that Mercury Neptune energy going on. So it's kind of cool how it all blends together. Something that started back in November of 2021 is coming full circle now in February of 2024. For the weekend, the 3rd and 4th, not too much to get excited about, other than Mercury is going to join the party in Aquarius. So later this month, we're going to have 5 planets in Aquarius. So there's this ideas flowing, getting creative, staying curious. Mercury in Aquarius from February 5th through 23rd. So that's free thinking, futuristic solutions. What's behind door number 3? It can also mean from certain groups, stepping away from certain neighborhoods or networks so that you can kind of reorient yourself and be with the type of people that you want to hang out with. Not saying like you'll like the people that you hang out with the most. So are keeping good company here in February. Okay, so if we look at the week of the 5th, and this is kind of popcorn energy in the sky where it's like, oh, there's some good stuff and there's some challenging stuff. So just being aware, it's like what goes up must come down and what goes down must come up. On Monday, the sun will sextile Chiron. At the same time, Mercury will conjunct Pluto, or be right next to Pluto in Aquarius. So I think we're going to be feeling the chemistry. I think we're going to be feeling this healing mode, this opportunity to forgive and forget and to move forward, to be at peace, among our groups. Like if you ever felt like you can't go somewhere, or the outcast because of people that are in a group, healing those type of things are very prevalent in the energy. And then later that night, Venus will square Chiron. So we're really trying to rewire the heart and the nervous system. Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza is a book and a resource that comes to mind for this type of astrology. So on Tuesday, Venus will square the nose. So Venus, that planet that rules the goddess and luxury and romance and finance, is in a challenging position to the nose of the moon. So it's like, notice the special people, notice the sacred contracts that we've made, notice who calls, who texts, who writes, notice which podcasts populate, notice what ads are recommended to you in some ways. There's something that's illuminating important data about your relationships right now and your finances. So what needs to be worked on? What needs to be tweaked a little bit? while the sun's, while Venus is in a challenging position to the nodes, the sun is in a positive position to the nodes, and soul connections are being made. So look at some of those disruptions. Be aware that there's good news there for you, that anything that is dissolving is actually for your best interest in it, helping you evolve, helping you level up as you grow on the spiritual path, right? Not everybody grows at the same pace. So you might find yourself with different friend groups or with different connections. It doesn't mean, it can be like bonds are made and broken, right? And they come back together at different times. So who is highlighted on your journey right now? Who's calling? Who's in your life? And what adjustments are you wanting to make? It's really good energy. It's a good time to recruit help, to ask for the support of your tribe. Mars is in a sextile to Neptune. Mars and Neptune working together help us with the spiritual vision, help us know what things to put into action, and whatever we believe in, what are we actually doing about it. That can be a time to get a work out and also a work in. So hiking with a meditative state of mind. I'm always going to recommend yoga for that, of course, but your spiritual practices that also combine a workout or a meditative state are going to be very powerful here midweek. And then on Thursday, we've got the sun squaring Uranus under an Aquarian moon. So I feel like there's a lot of rebel energy, like Wednesday, Thursday, that unconventional, that need to do something different, that like you're going left, you're going left, and all of a sudden you're going right. Like that could be something to play with here. On Friday, we've got a new moon in 20 degrees of Aquarius. So a fresh start, especially like this is really powerful, right? When any planet changes signs, we call it an ingress, I-N-G-R-E-S-S. And so when we have the sun ingress, we just had the sun move into Aquarius. Usually you would see the new moon in Aquarius followed by a full moon, but that's not what happened. We had a lunar is inverse, reverse. So we had the full moon first, and now we're having the new moon in Aquarius. If I confused you, just send me a note. I'll help explain it. But the new moon in Aquarius here is February 9th. Your intention is I surround myself with inspirational people, and I'm open to futuristic solutions. So what seeds are you planting? What intentions are you making for the kind of change that you want to be part of that involves a big group of people? So more will be revealed over time. This is starts a new 2.5-year cycle that culminates in May of 2026. So that's cool. Over the weekend, the Lunar New Year occurs in Chinese astrology on February 10th. So that's kind of fun. That's kind of cool. On the week of the 12th, let's see, we start out with Mars entering Aquarius. So Mars and Venus will enter Aquarius this week. And this is when we have the 5 planets in Aquarius. So there's a lot of Aquarian energy this week. So what can you think about in terms of Aquarius, right? This is the network. This is the group. This is the Einstein. This is the brilliant genius aha moments. Like this is the power of connecting with the thrones of the angels. Like this is the masses, right? This is power to the people in many ways. So Mercury, Venus, Mars, Pluto, and the sun all in Aquarius this week at some point. Sun's going to sneak out the back door into Pisces on the 18th. But this week, February 12th through 18th, right? You could be thinking about, if you are kind of in that intermediate to advanced astrology stage, you could be thinking about, wow, there's a lot of energy in Aquarius, which is a fixed sign. So it's going to oppose or square other fixed signs. So if you have a lot of planets in Scorpio, in Leo, in Taurus, or in Aquarius, you're going to be feeling this more so than your friends that don't have those strong sign placements this week. I want to let you know that Venus sextiles Neptune on Tuesday. That's a very vision, creative, being at one with the universe, like being by the beach, being with the ocean, being in luxury. The spiritual connections are being made. I'm flying that day, the 13th, down to Tulum, Mexico, to the beaches to host an astrology retreat. So you can see like kind of why I might pick some of the days that I'm flying or doing stuff or anything, right? Based on some of the positive astrology trends going on. So what about your romance or your creativity is being illuminated to you? These Venus transits can be felt a couple of days in advance. This one occurs 3 times this year. So February 13th, May 23rd, and December 4th, if you want to use this to plan ahead your luxury astrology vacation, right? All right, so let's see. On the 14th, no major aspects or transits. The moon will enter Taurus, which is very earthy. How can you ground your energy? What feels stable to you? What feels consistent? You might be hungry for Venusian ruled snacks. So these are things like almonds and apricots and figs and the like charcuterie board that has pecans and plums and very Venus type foods on them. Let's see, on the 15th, we've got Mercury trining the South Node and sextiling the North Node. So this is when these spiritual connections are being made. You're thinking, you're learning, you're making the neural pathways are lighting up, and the nodes help us connect us to our destiny, our path, our future, our what we came for, kind of that soul purpose, that spiritual connection of what we're here for, our karmas, how we can better ourselves and the tribe of humanity. So I wrote this quote for this trend that I love, challenge some of my listeners, but it's a Ram Dass quote, and it's to treat everybody that you meet like they are God in drag. Treat everybody that you meet out there like they're God in drag. Like, whoa, hello, hi, whoa, just nice today, whatever. When I was a little girl, my dad told the story that we went to trade in a truck that we had when I was little. And I went and hugged everybody in the dealership, like, so good to see you. Like, what is that? That is this Mercury trine South Node. Like, yeah, we've been here before together. It's good to be alive. It's just that kind of fun, enthusiastic, connective energy going on. Cool, right? Yeah. So on Friday, things shift a little bit. We got a first quarter moon at 27 degrees of Taurus. This starts new 2.5-year cycle. No, sorry, it's the second rung of something that started on May 19th of 2023. So if you know where 27 degrees of Taurus is in your chart, that house is going to give you information about the flavor of what you're kind of working through over this 2.5-year period, and it will culminate in August of 2025. The first quarter moon is yang. It's the time to take action. What are you going to do about it? Put your money where your mouth is. Walk your talk. What are you doing? What pressures are working in your favor? So the Sabian symbol associated with this one is the person in middle life. It stands in rapt, sudden realization of forgotten charms and unexpected recovery and romance. So I love how the Sabian symbol kind of matches up with that. Like, yeah, let's make some connections. Let's meet up. Venus into Aquarius today, raise the vibe of tribe, staying curious, desires of the heart. You can see kind of odd couple energy sometimes. You can see odd pet energy sometimes. Venus is in Aquarius February 16th through March 11th, and again in December 7th for the rest of the year. So Venus brings awareness to what we love and what we value, and Aquarius brings like this illumination of the odd, the unusual, the rebel, the scientist, the genius, our clubs, our social networks. So these are themes that you're going to see out there. Mercury is going to square Uranus this day. So this idea that there can be like some wires crossed, there can be some misunderstandings. What tools do you have to maneuver through misunderstandings? Okay, so Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the ancestor to every action is a thought. So if something goes wrong or funky, where did I set the ball rolling with my thinking? That is your key to freedom of everything. Of all of the things that you're going to get frustrated or upset or not understand about, where did I set the ball rolling with the way that I thought about it or the way that I started it, right? So these are some of the tools that I personally use. So this is kind of one of the, like, over the weekend or working into the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, be careful with what you leave plugged in at the house. Make sure that things are unplugged, that the lights are off, that anything that is kind of Murphy's Law. It's not that anything that could go wrong will. Just be aware, be on your safety precautionary, like, do that. Do that. I've been talking all morning, sorry. Be more alert with your safety precautions. And including what you say. Like, don't let your words be bombs out there. Does it need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said right now? Am I emitting the emotional frequency that I want to connect with other people? Venus is going to be right next to Pluto while all this is going on early Saturday morning. So these are intense connections. So things are kind of spicy here in the skies right now, mid-February. The sun, like I said, will scoot into Pisces. So happy birthday to all of our Aquarius and all of our Pisces. You can imagine all the possibilities with Pisces. You can daydream. You can get into a REM state. You can work with alpha states of consciousness. How can you feel your way into right thinking? Can you give peace a chance, right? John Lennon. The sun is in Pisces February 19th through March 20th. So as we look into the next week, let's see, February 19th. So Chiron is right next to the North Node in the sky. So I do feel like we're more sensitive. Our spidey senses are up. Our intuition is heightened. We all have this unique medicine bag that we bring with us, something that we're hurt by, that we feel small and vulnerable and isolated and left out and kind of nerdy around. So your inner nerd has this opportunity to like use that on your path forward. That is part of your destiny. Can you use that part of you that you overcame to help somebody else? And that is part of your purpose here on earth. So there's healing information that's coming up from the past that is you're able to use to help others and perhaps yourself in some way. So Chiron also sometimes brings spiritual teachers. Spiritual teachers aren't necessarily like the next class that you take online. Spiritual teachers can be anything. It can be just a bumper sticker on a notebook on the subway that you see. It can be the person in front of you in the coffee shop that says something remarkable, right? Like, look for these little spiritual teachers and these aha nuggets that you're getting throughout the day here on February 19th. We don't have any major transits again until Venus goes right next to Mars in Aquarius. So it happens once a year. This year it's in Aquarius. The skies are illuminating intimacy and passion and that yin yang, that sacred reunification of the masculine and the feminine. Ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze? What do you want to fall in love with? Aquarius is kind of, I just want to say, like, kinky. So just being aware of that too. On February 23rd, Mercury will join the sun in Pisces now. So Mercury is in the sign of Pisces, the two fishes, February 23rd through March 10th. You could think about like philanthropy and culture and going beyond the realms of consciousness to connect in your prayer life and your meditation life. This allows us to be vulnerable and sensitive and sweet, very sweet. It's a really optimal window here while Mercury and the sun are in Pisces for about a month period for creative projects, for choreography, for dancing, for people that do like the dancing TikToks, stuff like that, for cinema, for coming up with new ideas that shape the way that the culture is feeling. If we had as many feel-good stuff as we do true crime stuff on our feeds, right? Like, this would be a different world. So paying attention to what you are contributing to what the masses are taking into our minds. I love The Hidden Messages of Water. It's a book by Dr. Emoto. I got to hear him speak here in Austin several years ago. And one thing that he said that really impacted me is that anytime he goes to talk to a community, he prays over the water that, he basically visualizes and prays over the lakes, the oceans, the streams, the bodies of water. He physically goes there and then works with these hidden messages of water that he's helping like change the consciousness and the prisms of the water structure. And so you can do this with your own water glass, right? Like, you could write love on your water glass, tape it on there so the water can see it, and the frequency changes. And this is scientifically proven, right? Amazing research, that amazing life. What a legacy. I'm talking about this because Pisces is in a water sign, and Pisces is a water sign, and Mercury, the way we think and wire our nervous systems, and the sun, our personal health and vitality, how we shine, is there in that kind of woo-woo mystic world. So if you want to play with that, or if you want to play with like charging your bath water up with certain floral essences or bee essences from the hive or anything like that, this would be a fun time to kind of work with water magic, right? So Venus is going to square Jupiter on Sunday, and this is when like you eat too many sweets, or there's too much sugar going on, or you get an overload of something that's kind of like it's good for you until you go too far. Like the next bite was the one that was too much. Venus and Jupiter in a challenging position. Are you having champagne taste on a beer budget? Are you being challenged with something going on with your romances and finances that's taking you out of your comfort zone? I think of the card of Temperance in Tarot with this, the middle road. So over the weekend, February 23rd through 25th, how can you take the middle road? So you're not driving Barditch to Barditch. You're not like the pendulum isn't like swinging all crazy all over the place. You're just trying to find the middle of the road, have a normal kind of observation, being aware of something without having a big, huge reaction and it pulling everything off energetically. So what would the middle road look like? What would it be like without the drama? One of my mentors says. So anytime I come to her with like some hot topic, she's like, oh, what would it be like without the drama? Well, it would just be some data. Wouldn't have to be so fiery and left and right and up and down, right? It's just like, what would it be like without the drama? Good question for reflection. Monday, so as the month of February closes out, Monday through Wednesday, the skies are kind of, I'm going to say gloomy. I would say lower energy. This isn't the right time to like put it all out there, go forward, launch. Like the moon is void, of course, for a couple days. It just feels, let's see, let me click on that so I can be specific. Yeah, from like noon Central Time on 27th through 9 p.m. on the 28th. That's a lot of moon void of course time when things feel nebulous. It's not common that it's that long. Like sometimes it's a couple hours, sometimes it's longer, shorter, but this energy feels very distorted. So it's, to me, I'm not going to be starting something new. It's more of a time of rest. But what's really interesting here too, so Mars is squaring Jupiter, again, slowing the energy down a little bit, needing to shake something off. Some things are worth fighting for, but like be aware around that. Have you gone above and beyond the call of duty? Have you tried to fix something? Have you been arguing, explaining, and justifying? Is it time to just do nothing for a moment, let a couple of days pass, rest? Or if you're really amped up and just need that healthy physical outlet, can you do something, go for a run, go for a hike, exert yourself with a healthy physical outlet, like funneling those emotions through it? That's what's going on. But Wednesday, what's kind of interesting too, the exclamation point to this like nebulous period is that both Mercury and let's see, Saturn will be cazimi. Cazimi means in the heart of the sun. So Mercury, Saturn, Sun, Pisces, all in Pisces. So this is an auspicious time for self-development, for spiritual development, for writing, for understanding your limitations based on old fears. Can you ask yourself what you're really afraid of? Or are your decisions being driven by fears, right? This is a good time to be aware of that. Writing from the soul, meditation activities. What else did I say? Yeah, so information wizardry, right? Mercury, the sun, Saturn, Pisces. That's the vibe on Wednesday. Interesting day. Worth understanding and observing what's going on. Don't get astrological FOMO when I'm talking about these things. Just be aware and let yourself start to learn astrology in this way. So on Thursday, the 29th, Mercury will sextile Jupiter. Opportunity will knock. So do you want to imagine big? Where have you been playing small? This might be your wake up time to think bigger. To ask for help from benevolent parties, to consider investments, to consider investors, to consider angel investors, both metaphysical and physical, right? Venus on February 29th will trine the South Node and therefore sextile the North Node. There's a relationship focus. There's influential, interesting people. Just notice what type of connections you're making. Who are you around? Who's calling? Who's texting? Who's inviting you? What opportunities are coming to you to respond to? Are we in our relationship, right? Venus, are we still going in the same direction? Do we need to have a little check-in? Do we have shared goals that we want to make some adjustments to? These are themes that you might be aware of. And so, yes, February 29th is what I was talking about. That means that February 2024 is a leap year. And so I pulled up some data on the Farmer's Almanac for you. Here's the rules of a leap year. When is it a leap year? It's not just every 4th year. So there's 2 rules for making it a leap year. One is that a leap year has to be evenly divisible by 4. And the second rule is that years divisible by 100, so like 1900 and 2000, cannot be leap years unless they are also divisible by 400. So 1700, 1800, 1900, not leap years because they're not divisible by 400. But 1600 and 2000 were leap years because they were divisible by 400. So if a year satisfies both rules, it is a leap year. We are in one. And the short explanation for why we need leap years is that our calendar needs to stay aligned with the astronomical seasons. I'm pulling this from the Farmer's Almanac because I wanted to address it, but this is definitely not my area. I just wanted to shortly address it, I guess. So we switch into March. That means the numerology changes on Friday. And there's some positive juju in the skies going on. March changes from a 1 to a 2. So now we're in a 2 numerology month. And this is about relationships, the relationship I have with myself, the relationship I have with my higher power, the relationship I have with other people, the relationship I have with my environment, my digestion, my body, things like this. So your March intention is I experience balance, harmony, and reciprocity in myself and in all of my experiences. So connecting the seen and the unseen, connecting this, trying to find harmony, trying to find balance, right? Thinking of this kind of Libra type energy this time of a year. So where that can get out of hand is when we get into codependencies, into people-pleasing behaviors, and into like helping somebody else out in their life instead of focusing on ours and where we need to find balance. I said that there was good stuff in the skies. It's because Venus is sextile Chiron. This is when we're open to love. How much love can you receive? How pleasurable could it feel? What if it all works out? These are the questions that you want to be asking and allowing time for a response. Open hands, open heart is your mantra. Over the weekend, we've got Venus squaring Uranus. So new developments in love and money. Things are very unpredictable. Good news, bad news, who knows? Are things tense because you're trying to manage and control things? It's going to feel brittle. Are things fluid because you're just open to things changing? Then it's going to feel exciting, right? It's the same neural pathways, but how you choose to experience it, your approach, your perspective is what determines how you feel about it. So Venus square Uranus, again, that odd couple energy, very like diverse attractions, like just interesting energy going on. And it's under a last quarter moon on Sunday, March 3rd. This is at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. This is harvest time when we have a last quarter moon. So something that started in December of 2021 is wrapping up now, wherever you have 13 degrees of Sagittarius in your chart. For me, it's in my first house, myself, my identity, how I shine, Sagittarius, travel, publishing, university level teaching, the magic carpet ride, understanding that like quest for truth, right? That lighthouse adventure. So what's coming to fruition for you? What feels complete? This moon marks wisdom, experience, seasoned perspective in something. What is wrapping up in your life on Sunday, March 3rd? So that's a look at this month in astrology. I just took you through the end of the last week of February because I didn't want to leave you hanging there in midweek. But this has been February of 2024. Again, I'm Tiffany Harelik. This was your Wise Skies astrology forecast. I'm so happy to be here with you. Thanks for spending some time with me. You have free will. Do what you want. Just be aware of the astrology forecast. Love yourself and love others. Namaste.